a little more violent than the start of our show on a regular basis. Welcome to the Casino Rama Grill Room. I'm Gareth Wheeler. He's not only the star of that new movie right there, The Marine 2, but he's also a WWE superstar, a third-generation wrestler from a true wrestling family. Ladies and gentlemen, Ted DiBiase Jr., welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
These are the times I wish we had like a live studio audience so they could applaud,
give you applause in the background.
I mean, that's what you're used to, right? I guess taking a little bit more heat on a regular basis.
Yeah, it's not so much applause. Maybe from the ladies, right at first, and then the guys really get pissed off,
That's the way it's supposed to be, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, welcome to Toronto. Glad that you're here. Got a lot to get to tonight, including your current standing in the WWE and, of course, the Marine 2. But I want to start off on how you got to where you are today. I mean, most of us growing up, our fathers are either bankers or salesmen, boring stuff like that. But your dad, Ted DiBiase, a famous wrestler, and not just famous, but one of the most hated wrestlers of his generation. What was that like growing up in such an atmosphere?
Oh man, it was crazy at times. It was cool. Actually, you mentioned the some of us, your dads were bankers or lawyers. For me, it was the same thing. I didn't really see the big deal at first when I was younger. I was just like, well, if you go with your dad to work, you might sit in an office. I get to watch my dad on TV. He just works on TV. So it didn't really register at a young age, And then after he got out, that was around when I was 10 years old, he got out of the business, and then I realized what a big deal he was, and it started kind of sinking in how cool it was that my dad was the $1 million man and this bigger than life character on TV, and but I always from a very young age wanted to wrestle. I just, from going on the road with my father and experiencing, the sound of the crowd in the arena, and one of the things was like the smell of his gym bag. Just it's weird, like that leather and I would always tape my wrist up, at home. I'd steal tape out of his bag, and so it's been my dream for a very long time to be where I am right now.
I'm just thinking about how the other kids around you must have reacted to who your father was. Did you take heat for that whatsoever, or were you like the kid star at school?
Well, a little bit of both. At first I started in a private school, and then I got to junior high around 7th grade, and I wanted to transfer to public so I could play football with the big boys, and so that's what I did. And when I made that transfer from this private school where everybody knew me to this public school, I got tested.
Right.
Everybody's like, "Oh, he thinks he's big and bad, this son of the wrestler, and we'll see what he's like." And so I got in a few fights growing up, right at first, but then then they started to accept me, and it was cool after that. Ended up being like a student body president. So.
Well, yeah, there's definitely the connection that's there.
Yeah.
I want to know whether or not you connected with any other wrestlers when you were growing up, going on the road. You must have some real cool stories to tell, Ted.
Well, the coolest things for me, like when my dad took me, they did a loop in Florida once. We would go to Disney World and SeaWorld. And I remember we had this like personal guide, this lady that would take us around, and we'd walk right. I remember going to Space Mountain, I don't know how many times. We'd walk right to the front of the line. And the first couple times, there's people in line going, "That's the $1 million man. Oh, that's so cool, hey." And then by like the 8th time I've ridden this ride before they've even got up there, they're like, "This is bull crap. How come he gets to go up there?" So it had its perks, but Dad was gone a lot.
Sure.
It's tough, and that's what some people don't realize. What we go through, it takes a toll on our body, and it takes a toll on your family, because I didn't see much of my dad, up until like the age of 10. So any time I got with him was very special.
So is it true that your dad tried to maybe veer you in a different direction, keep you away from a career in wrestling? Yes,
absolutely. He was very adamant about myself and my 2 brothers not wrestling for the longest time. I don't think he understood how bad we wanted to, because we've always been very respectful of my father, you know, just have a very strong bond, a very strong relationship. So the fact that he didn't want us to, okay, we set a, you know, there were other goals, but in the back of our minds, you know, all three of us, we would always talk, man, it'd be so cool to do what Dad did, you know. And when I finally got to college, became a man, and, you know, I was graduating college when my father got hired back by WWE, and he saw that it had changed a lot. You know, the company had gone public, it's steering itself into a new direction, and he saw a lot of opportunity for success. And so that's when my dream was revived, you know, at the end of my college career. And he's like, all right, stipulation.
And he's clearly proud of you today.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's the thing. I mean, I've interviewed your father, and he raves about you in your career. And that's got to make you kind of proud that, you know, or a sense of pride that you made your family, you know, you've done your family's name such justice.
Right. Yeah. And that was important to me, you know, not just becoming a WWE superstar for the sole sake of being famous or people knowing you or you know, having money. For me, and I can speak for like guys like Cody and Randy, you know, this is truly a passion. We love this business. You know, it's not just about being on TV or making a movie. You know, that was just a plus. This is about carrying on a family legacy. The name, you know, Cody Rhodes, you know, from that's huge. You know, Ted DiBiase, like you said, the greatest villain probably that will ever be remembered as the greatest villain in the wrestling business. Those shoes to fill are huge.
And I will never forget your father kicking away the basketball from that kid. That's one of the most memorable moments, good and or bad, in WWF history. Ted, we got to take a break. We got to talk about your new movie where you're the lead actor in, and of course, legacy in your career right now in the WWE. When we return right here inside the Casino Rama Grill Room.